Hi. On this episode of Home Water Dispatch, I am on Eleuthera in the Bahamas, southern end of the island, a place called Cape Eleuthera. And I got active tracking on, so I hope it doesn't make you nauseous, but over in this direction is a place called the Cape Eleuthera Island School, and over in this direction is called the Cape Eleuthera Institute. And there's a bridge connecting both, and I'm kind of in between the two. There's a cool mangrove creek behind me that's been restored, thanks partially because of the Institute. Anyway, I'm really excited to be back here. I gave a presentation at the Island School Research Symposium. So the Island School is a high school-based study abroad program. That's all really about immersive experiential education in a place like the Bahamas, on Eleuthera, and to think about our place on the planet and thinking about living harmoniously with the landscape and thinking about the holistic connections with the community, place-based education with this mindset of building capacity, personal capacity and growth, and a broader perspective in terms of our place on the planet. And I was fortunate enough to move here in 2002 and started out with a role at the Island School. And as part of the Island School curriculum, they do directed research, and those research projects are very place-based, very relevant, related to the species that are here, that are very important to the Bahamian economy or local communities or Bahamian culture. They've done research projects thinking about how to live sustainably in this environment where the import costs of things are ginormous. There's a great environmental footprint. There's things related to waste and energy, all those things that tie into this broader picture of sustainability. And they've had projects in the past related to biodiesel and renewable energy systems, but students have also focused on queen conch and mutton snapper and asking the question, what is sustainable aquaculture? And all of that was, once housed over here at the Cape Eleuthera Island School. And then thanks to a different chapter in my life, I was able to put some energy in collaborative energy to develop something called the Cape Eleuthera Institute, which is over here. And I'm going to turn off this active tracking because it's like really annoying me. I'm going to do that. And so and probably also making you nauseous. Anyway, the Cape Eleuthera Institute grew out of this need to expand on the research programs that were housed really over at the Island School. And since that time, rather than active tracking, I'm going to here we go, I can do this. Might mess up my hair, I don't know. Not really. So the Institute is now over here, and it started as a barren plot of land, and we were able to raise some money and build some buildings and do some really cool things with that space, and allow the research programs to grow, to add depth to them, to bring in visiting scientists, visiting researchers, visiting programs, having other school groups come down, because I forgot if I said the Island School is a high school-based study abroad program. So having more capacity on the Institute side in terms of space for other people to be immersed in this environment and to think about our collective place on the planet. And by doing so, when you're here, you learn and understand the limitations, like being able to grow things is a challenge. Yes, it's sunny, but it's intermittent in terms of precipitation. and because of the geology, there's not a lot of soil. So you have to use innovative approaches to growing things that you might want to eat. And so one of the earlier projects that was housed over at the Cape Eleuthera Institute that is still going is some aquaponics, connecting hydroponics with fish production and seeing how you can close waste streams in order to get more out of the waste, and you could consume the fish and you consume the greens, and then you no longer have to import things to the same extent, and reducing our global environmental footprint. And so it's been exciting being reacquainted with this space. It's been, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7 years since I've been here. There's been a lot of growth. You know, the vegetation has grown. I chatted a little bit more about this wetland and where we initially put the wet lab. There's a flow-through seawater system, and that has allowed water to enter this mangrove creek that was initially cut off when these pads of land were initially formed based on an old defunct resort. And so using this as a way to partially restore the wetland in terms of design. And then over the years, we've actually used that wetland space to do some cool research, like on bonefish and some other things, lemon sharks, I think, in there too. So this has grown over time. It's still amazing to see this connection between how we do experiential education at the high school level, have it integrated into and with sort of more advanced research programs, all tied to this idea of thinking about the way that the humans are interacting with the environment, thinking about our environmental footprint, and thinking about how we can understand how to live more harmoniously with the environment and with the things that we do. This place was pretty influential for a lot of shark research, a lot of bonefish research over the years. I'm going to try to squeeze in another post from one of my favorite tidal creeks down here. Who knows? We'll see if I can get there tomorrow. But this is a really pivotal place because it allows us to make these connections between the natural environment, the built environment, the human environment, and the way that we evolve in our space over time. It is a way that people connect with the environment, they connect with culture, and they connect with their responsibility in terms of how they're going to use this space when they're here, either as a semester abroad program or a week or as a scientist, and then hopefully take some of those sentiments home with them and try to positively affect change and to be informed advocates and activists when they get home. And so, you know, it's interesting to see the positive impact that the Island School and Institute have had here, but then also reconnecting and seeing some of these students really inspired by their experience, and hopefully they'll carry some of that sentiment home with them and be the next generation of leaders that will hopefully turn our maybe governments and industries around to do more positive things for our planets. This is a bit of a longer episode. The one thing that I want to reflect on is while I was here, you know, I was able to really meet some wonderful people and some great collaborators that I still collaborate with. This place has been the foundation for more and more amazing science. There's some coral restoration going on here now that's partially funded by the Nature Conservancy. There are some scientists here now from Memorial University in Canada doing some ecophysiology on fish and looking at environmental stressors and physiology. There are some researchers here doing work on sharks and looking at differences in how different sexes of sharks are influenced by stress. There's more. There's a ton more. There's work being done on stone crabs, which are incredibly relevant to the Bahamian economy and Bahamian culture. And so I think that it's interesting to be back here and see that there's still this increased focus and attention on these locally and regionally relevant environmental issues, and trying to think about how we can use science and social science as well to bring more information to the table, to be greater informed advocates and activists, something that I say quite a bit. We need to bring knowledge to the table when we're getting ready for a fight, right? And being at the table to positively affect change. So there's a lot wrapped in here. It's been a wonderful visit so far. And so, and hopefully I'll be able to squeak out another episode, but I'll put a link for the Island School and the Institute in the description for this episode of Home Water Dispatch. And I mean, it is home water. I will turn my camera around because the face tracking just makes me nauseous. But these used to be my home waters for a long time. And really reflecting on it, they were home waters, but I'm not originally from the Bahamas. These waters belong to Bahamians, and I hope through capacity building and growth that a place like the Island School and Institute that brings a lot of people together, including a lot of Bahamians in terms of capacity building, that is able to fill important knowledge action gaps and be a positive catalyst for change. It's pretty cool to be back, and yeah, that's a neat space, right? Anyway. See you next time on Home Water Dispatch. Bye.